Have you ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself, what happened to me? Your body just does not respond the way it used to. That feeling of closeness has started to fade. You still love your wife. You still want to connect, but deep down, it feels like something inside has shut down. You are not alone. Millions of American men over the age of 60 are silently struggling with a loss of vitality, not just physically, but also in terms of confidence and emotional connection during intimate moments. And the worst part? Most of them believe it is just a normal part of getting older. But what if I told you there is a natural way? No medications, no expensive treatments, just a simple, affordable oil you probably already have at home that could help wake your body back up. I am Dr. Titan Gray, and today I am going to share a simple, yet incredibly powerful, secret that has helped thousands of men just like you restore circulation, sensation, and even their most private sense of confidence. In just a moment, I will tell you about the first major benefit, something very few people expect, but that could completely change your experience after just a few uses. By the way, if you are watching this video, let me know where you are from by dropping your city name in the comments. I always find it amazing to see who is joining me on this journey. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, make sure to hit that follow button. We share natural, discreet, and effective solutions made specifically for men over the age of 60. The first benefit, softening scar tissue and releasing hidden internal tension. I once treated a man named Joe, a 72-year-old retired electrician. As soon as he stepped into the room, he looked down and quietly said, "I am not sure what is happening, but it has started to curve, and it feels really strange, very uncomfortable." He was far from alone. In fact, many men at this age silently suffer from penile deformities without having any idea what is actually causing them. Most of them just assume it is part of getting older, and they keep it to themselves until things get worse. So, what is the real reason? It is hardened scar tissue forming inside, something nobody really talks about, but which is incredibly common after the age of 60. These tissues build up over years of low-grade inflammation, friction, or minor injuries that often go unnoticed. Over time, they reduce elasticity in the inner tissues, causing bending, tension, or even making the area seem shorter. Medically, this condition closely resembles mild to moderate Peyronie's disease, and the good news is, it is absolutely treatable. Castor oil, a traditional natural remedy, has long been known for its ability to soften hardened tissues and support regeneration. Thanks to its content of ricinoleic acid, when combined with a warm cloth, this oil can penetrate deep into the tissue layers, helping break down fibrosis and improve both structure and function. I instructed Joe to apply the oil 3 to 4 times a week before bed, along with gentle massage and a warm compress. 6 weeks later, he came back, sat down, and looked visibly relieved. "I feel so much better, and the shape is starting to go back to normal." That was not just a physical change, it was the feeling of reclaiming control over his own body. The second benefit, boosting blood circulation, the first step to reclaiming your masculine power. I will never forget my first meeting with Frank, a 70-year-old man. He sat quietly in front of me, eyes avoiding mine, then whispered, "I just do not feel like myself anymore." He did not need to explain further. I understood right away, it was not just about desire. It was something deeper, the feeling that his body no longer responded the way it used to. Sluggish blood flow, weak reactions, and worst of all, the sinking sense that he was no longer the man he once was. Frank is far from alone. Millions of men over the age of 60 slowly lose that feeling, gradually. Silently, at first, it is just a slight slowdown. Then, sensitivity begins to fade, until one day, it feels like everything has simply shut off, with no explanation. In reality, the reason is quite clear. After age 60, blood vessels begin to age. They lose elasticity, narrow down, and most importantly, the body produces less nitric oxide, a crucial compound that helps dilate blood vessels. Without enough blood reaching the genital area, intimacy quietly slips away with it. This is where castor oil becomes a surprisingly powerful natural solution. This oil contains ricinoleic acid, a compound known to stimulate blood flow, especially effective when combined with a warm compress. When applied to the lower abdomen and around the genital area, it does not just sit on the surface. It penetrates deeply, warming the tissue and waking up the capillaries that have been dormant for far too long. Many patients report that after just a few applications, they feel a gentle warmth spreading, a good sign that blood is beginning to flow again. Over time, they regain morning reactions, sensation during intimacy, and most importantly, confidence, something they thought was gone forever. Frank was a perfect example. After using the oil 3 times a week for a month, he came back with a soft smile and said, "It feels like my body is learning how to remember itself again." That is not magic. It is the body's natural mechanism, gently supported at the right time, in the right way. The third benefit, nourishing the skin in sensitive areas, a soft armor, for maintaining masculine vitality in your later years. When people talk about men's health after the age of 60, most think about hormones, heart health, or the ability to stay in the game, but very few pay attention to something that seems small, yet is incredibly important, the skin in the genital area. This is the thinnest, most sensitive skin on the body, and also the most often neglected. I once heard Ray, a 73-year-old man, complain, "The skin down there feels like tissue paper. Just wearing slightly tight jeans makes it burn. Sometimes it even bleeds." Ray's story is not uncommon. As we age, skin loses collagen, moisture retention decreases, and testosterone drops, all which cause the skin in this area to become dry, fragile, and more prone to damage. Tiny cracks can appear from just a bit of friction or overzealous cleaning. And here's the thing, dry, damaged skin is not just uncomfortable, it can also reduce sensation. Nerve endings sit just beneath this delicate layer of skin. When that skin becomes dry, slightly inflamed, or loses elasticity, signals to the brain get delayed or even disappear altogether. That is why many men, though still physically able to be intimate, no longer feel fully connected to the experience. So, what is the solution? Castor oil, simple, yet surprisingly effective as a kind of soft armor. Thanks to its thick texture and deep moisturizing ability, pure castor oil can protect, soothe, and nourish weakened skin, especially in sensitive areas. It contains no fragrances, does not cause irritation, and unlike many commercial creams, it does not thin the skin. This makes it a natural, safe, and ideal solution for aging skin. Ray began applying the oil every evening, just a few minutes before bed. After a few weeks, he told me, "I do not feel that burning anymore. The skin feels softer, stronger, and I feel more confident when I am close with my wife." It was not about appearance. It was about healthier skin, allowing everything underneath to be protected and to function the way it was meant to. The fourth benefit, soothing chronic inflammation and reawakening forgotten sensitive tissue. There is something many men do not realize, that subtle burning sensation. Dull numbness or tight pulling feeling in the lower region, especially during movement or intimacy, is often not just normal aging. I once had a patient named Tom, 68 years old, who shared something that had been quietly bothering him for months. It is not exactly painful, but it feels like something inside is tightening up, like my body is slowly pulling inward. It may sound minor, but it actually points to something much more serious, low-grade chronic inflammation in the lower pelvic area, a silent condition that deeply affects male vitality after the age of 60. When this type of inflammation lingers, surrounding tissues begin to lose their flexibility. Blood has a harder time circulating, and the body's natural healing systems slow down. The result? Diminished sensation, weak responses, and in many cases, difficulty reaching arousal the way they used to. This is where castor oil delivers outstanding results. With its high concentration of ricinoleic acid, castor oil has been studied for its anti-inflammatory properties. It helps calm swelling and reduce oxidative stress in soft tissue, meaning it eases that internal tightness while also supporting the restoration of tissue sensitivity. I instructed Tom to use the oil every evening, gently massaging the lower abdomen and groin area, followed by a warm compress for about 20 minutes. A few weeks later, he returned, visibly more relaxed and bright-eyed. It feels like my body is loosening up, lighter, and the feeling is starting to come back. That is a clear signal. When inflammation is managed, blood flows more freely, tissues become more flexible, and most importantly, the body begins to remember how to respond again. The fifth benefit: reawakening lost sensation and connection, restoring nerve function in sensitive areas. There is something many men never say out loud, not even to their wives, let alone their doctors. It is not that they have lost the ability. The body still works, but the feeling, it is gone. No more excitement, no more joy, just mechanical movement without connection, without emotion. I vividly remember Jack, a 63-year-old former firefighter. When he spoke to me, his eyes were filled with sadness. "Doctor, I am still intimate with my wife, but I do not feel anything. It is like my body is going through the motions, but I am not really there anymore." That sentence hit me hard, because Jack is not alone. Thousands of men over 60 are living in that silent gap, where the body and emotions no longer move in sync. The reason? Over time, the sensory nerves in the genital area start to weaken, not just because of poor circulation, but also due to chronic inflammation, hormonal changes, or simply the side effects of daily medications. The signals from the brain to the lower body slow down, and eventually, sensation begins to fade. But here's the good news. Castor oil has the ability to help reawaken those nerves, not in an overnight, miracle cure way, but through a gentle process. It calms inflammation, increases local blood flow, and warms up the nerve tissue, creating the ideal environment for recovery. I instructed Jack to apply the oil each night before bed, gently massage the area, and then use a warm compress. A month later, he returned and said, "I am starting to feel something again. It is not strong yet, but it is real, like a tiny spark. I thought I had lost forever." That was the moment I knew his body was reconnecting, not just physically, but emotionally and deep within his heart. However, there is one thing I always remind every patient. The results do not come from trying it a few times and giving up. They come from consistency, patience, and proper application. So how can you use castor oil in a way that is safe, effective, and truly unlocks its healing potential? In the next section, I will guide you step by step on how to choose the right oil. Warm it up properly, apply it to the right areas, and use it at the best time for optimal results. Many people hear about the benefits of castor oil and rush to try it. But after a few attempts, they give up because they do not notice any difference. Most of the time, it is because they are using the wrong type of oil, applying it in a hurry, skipping the warming step, or simply not being consistent. And that is exactly why they miss out on the deep healing potential their body is fully capable of achieving. Castor oil is not a miracle cure overnight. It requires gentleness, consistency, and the right technique. Start by choosing the right kind of oil. It must be pure, cold-pressed, fragrance-free castor oil, with absolutely no additives. This is the only type that is truly safe for delicate skin and sensitive nerve areas. Before applying, warm the oil. You can simply roll the bottle between your palm for a few seconds, or place it in a cup of warm water. Once the oil is comfortably warm, use a small amount and gently apply it to the lower abdomen, around the base and shaft of the penis. Massage slowly for a few minutes, not forcefully, not with pressure, just enough to help the body sense the connection. If possible, place a warm cloth over the area for about 15 to 20 minutes. This helps open the pores and allows the oil to penetrate deeper into the underlying tissues. You do not need to do this every day. Just 3 to 4 times a week, in the evening before bedtime, is enough, because it is during those quiet nighttime hours that your body enters a healing state, and those small, steady actions begin to build real results over time. I once told a patient, "This is not a quick fix. It is a way for you to slowly reclaim sensation, confidence, and your connection with your own body." And that is exactly what it is. With each gentle session, you are not just restoring physical function, you are reigniting something deeper. Something many men believe they have lost forever. After more than 30 years of working with men in their later years, I have come to realize one thing. What they truly seek is not just about physical function. It is the feeling of still being themselves, strong, connected, fully present in life and in the most intimate moments. Because when the body starts to change, sensation fades, Responses slow down. The reflection in the mirror becomes unfamiliar. You're not just losing function. You're losing the connection to the man you once were. And what breaks my heart is that so many men choose silence. They assume maybe it is just old age and resign themselves to that emptiness as something inevitable. But I want to tell you this. You are not broken. You are not lacking. You just need a chance to reignite what is still there. Your body, even after all these years, still holds the capacity to recover. The question is, will you give it that chance? This castor oil practice is not just about physical care. It is a small, meaningful act, a way of saying to yourself, I still care about this body. I still deserve to feel. I am not giving up. I have seen the sorrow in the eyes of men as they walked into my clinic, and I have seen the quiet smiles of relief return just a few weeks later. Not because everything was cured, but because they started to feel something truly important again, hope. If you have made it this far, I believe you are ready, not just to try a health tip, but to begin a real journey, one of reclaiming your identity, your sensation, and your connection to the parts of you that felt lost. If what I have shared today resonates with you, hit that follow button and turn on the notification bell. I will be here every week, bringing natural, discreet, and science-backed solutions made just for you. What part of this video felt most true for you? Let me know in the comments below. I would truly love to hear from you. Wishing you strength, peace, and the ability to feel every emotion fully. I will see you in the next video. Your journey is just beginning.